And welcome into the Ultimate Soccer Show again. I hope you're having a great week, and I hope you're getting ready for the next big game. Next big game is the FA Cup. It's Yeovil Town FC coming into the racecourse ground. We'll talk about that one. We're also going to be talking about a couple of other things too, like the next EFL Cup game coming in midweek, and that's the Brewers, Burton Albion taking on Wrexham again at the racecourse ground. And then after that, we'll be touching more news on a game coming up. And that's when we get back into League 2 action, and that's against Forest Green Rovers at the new lawn. But for now, it's the FA Cup, and it's Wrexham taking on Yeovil Town at the racecourse ground. Let's get into that one right now. Okay, talking Yeovil Town FC coming into the racecourse ground on the weekend for the FA Cup second round game. And I tell you what, win that and maybe bring a big team to the racecourse ground. Could you imagine, just for a second, that we win through this round and we get paired up against maybe Manchester City at the racecourse ground, maybe Manchester United, but I'm sure you'd rather see Man City there, yeah? Maybe a Liverpool, maybe an Aston Villa, maybe even a Sheffield United. Remember that game from a little while back? I'm sure you do, Wrexham fans. So we can literally look forward to another big day. But let's not take Yeovil Town for granted. They're having a fantastic season. We'll get onto that in a second. But Yeovil Town last year were relegated from the National League, while Wrexham were promoted from the National League into League 2. Therefore, we are now 2 leagues apart. Yeovil Town is the 6th tier of English football, and Wrexham is in the 4th tier. But since Yeovil were relegated, they've rebuilt that team and are having a fantastic, spectacular season in National League South. Sitting on top, 19 games in, 13 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, 39 goals scored, 24 against, for plus 15, but 42 points, 6 points clear of second place Maidstone United. And I got to tell you, this is going to be a tough game. Listening to Phil Parkinson earlier today, well, Phil has a few things to say. Here's what he has to say. The league is the priority. End of. The FA Cup is special. It's a nice break from league football, Phil says, but the league is the priority. And he also admits, he said, you got to admit that Yeovil's coming here to possibly bring an upset, and we got to respect them when they get it, because they've got a top team and they're going very well. And when you got confidence brewing and breeding, it breeds wins. And 19 games, 13 wins, that tells you that Yeovil Town is a team to be respected. It's going to be a tough game, but it's going to be a great game for the TV cameras too. And I'll tell you this much, there's going to be one more training session on Saturday. Phil Parkinson will pick the team on Saturday, and he'll let you know exactly where it's going. But looking for changes to the lineup. I'm not saying it's going to be a weakened team, but it's an FA Cup game, remember? And if you want to know what I'm thinking about where this is going to go, I really see the win. I do. I remember last weekend when we got the 2-2. Well, I was pretty close with that one the weekend before. I got the win there. This weekend, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for a 4-0 over Yeovil. You might think that's a little harsh. You might think, Stevie, what are you thinking? But I've got to be honest with you. Wrexham is that good. And if we hit the ground running and get the goals in the first half, get the goals in the second half, and literally just execute in front of net, I can't see this going any other way. Big respect to Yeovil Town FC. But I got to say, this is probably the end of your FA Cup dream, and maybe the start of something big for Wrexham in 2023. Maybe it's a big year for Wrexham in 2024 for other reasons. You don't know what I'm saying, but hey, it's either FA Cup or league. Looking at the league and looking at the FA Cup, here's the FA Cup dates. That's every round all the way to the final. I tell you what, I'd love to see us in the next round. Like I say, it's going to be a tough game. Yeovil, not going to be easy, but when you see the likes of the players we've got and the way the guys have been performing recently, yeah, we've had a couple of losses, 3 on the season, and that's not that bad so far. But listen, you got to say, is this the year for a cup run? Do you want a cup run? Or are you not even interested in the FA Cup? Are you so homed in on the league that that's where your passion and that's where your attention lies and that's where you want the team to be? I know this much. The league is my priority. Looking in stores now, you got to say, remember this, guys, FA Cup and League Cup, you need to be wearing your shirts. Get into the store online and at the store down at the ground. Get in there, empty that store out, get your shirts, because they're selling like hotcakes. And online, don't miss out. If you need to get someone a Christmas present, get online now. Don't they look good? They look good. Next game up, that's Bristol Street Motors. That is in the EFL Cup. That's coming up in midweek. And obviously after the game against Yeovil Town. After that, we got a big league game coming. So we've got two games in the Cup, FA Cup and League Cup. And then we got a big league game coming up right after that. And that's against Forest Green Rovers. I say this much, not taking Forest Green Rovers for granted, but coming out of the two cup games, this is a nice game to set yourself up with to get back on track with the league schedule and the league structure. So a nice game to come back in on off the back of the FA Cups. Looking at the league so far, your first game up coming up, obviously, like you know, Forest Green Rovers. Then it's Colchester, then Newport, Swindon, and Walsall. Looking at the league standings, looking pretty good. Wrexham sitting in second, looking damn good. And I tell you, we're hitting the right form at the right time. We're in the right position at the right time. We were 6 points behind Stockport County, and but for a goal, we would have been 3 points behind Stockport County right now, and possibly 3 points ahead of Barrow. But as it stands, you see the top three: Stockport 42, Wrexham 37, Barrow impressive form recently, as has Mansfield Town all season. But again, remember, I say, Mansfield Town draw too many games. They didn't lose last weekend. They drew, and they were in the top three. But like I keep saying, draws will kill you at the worst possible time. Just imagine that this was the last game of the season last weekend. Mansfield Town would have gone into the playoffs and out of an automatic position because they drew. Remember, ties will kill you. Coming back on screen for some more. Okay, guys, now we're going to give you some club news, and I'll tell you what, that was hopefully the information that you wanted to hear about and hopefully the information you wanted to see. If you've got any ideas, down below, fifascup@gmail.com. Email, tell me what you want to see, and we'll get into that. Before we move along, though, we're going to talk about the women's team first, then the men's. But have a look at this next piece of swag. Lovely blue. It's a lovely blue shirt, yeah? It's got the Wrexham on there, but again, we've got a lovely dragon. I'm going to angle into the lights here so you can see that reflects a bit. It's a bit reflective. But yeah, back again. Big time Wrexham blue. And there we go, looking good. So, talking about the women's team, and are you ready for this weekend's football? Because we've got two games on the same day. They did try to get both games on separate dates, but they didn't come through. The league said, nope, you're going to play on the day that it's organised, and that's that. So the men and the women will be playing on the same day, December 3rd. The women taking on Britain Ferry in the Welsh Cup quarterfinals. And I tell you what, we've got a startling picture of the women. Take a look at this. Isn't that a great picture, hey? Isn't that a great picture? And right down in the bottom, if you look close into that picture, right down the bottom, right there, there's Rosie. Right underneath everybody. But yeah, they crammed the net. They're obviously having a great time this season and sitting second in the league. But again, this weekend, it's the Welsh Cup quarterfinals. And let's hope they get into the semis and maybe get a final game against who, you know, it could be Cardiff, it could be Swansea, it could be Metropolitan. And if they lose, it could be nobody. So that's what's happening this weekend. Adult tickets, £3, and under 14s must be accompanied by a ticket holder or someone of the age of 18 and above. So I don't know what that's all about, but I guess they're taking care of the kids and making sure everybody's safe. So there's some news about the women, but on the season so far, you have to say, Dale's got them going in the right direction. They've had a fantastic season so far. They need to end on a high, and ending on a high would be one or two things. Would either be claiming the Adran League title or even the Welsh Cup. Let's wish them well. Moving along. We got some news about Arthur Okonkwo. Arthur's got a knock. Obviously, he's had an X-ray. If you didn't know, he's had an X-ray, a scan. And the Arsenal specialists so far won't be revealing anything until Monday because, remember, he's an Arsenal player. When they get injured badly, they go home to get fixed because it's the parent club that has the final say. So Phil Parkinson still waiting out on news from Arthur Okonkwo, but he will not be available for this weekend's game due to the injury. Moving along. November came and went, so did Movember. I'm always in the game, apparently. I don't need it just for Movember or November. But the guys raised at Wrexham £4,000 for the charity. So that's a massive, massive feature. And like I say, don't they look startling with all those moustaches? Guys that don't normally have one. You know, look at the background. Ollie Palmer there in the background. He looks like one of those players from like 1878, you know, with the striped uniforms per se. But it's that look on Ollie's face. And not forgetting Aaron Hayden as well, doing pretty good as well. So Movember went through, looking good. Moving along, more news about the game. But before we get there, I want to tell you about the World Cup, 3D printed World Cup presents that we're giving away for Christmas. You've got literally 1 week to get your name in to win. We've had 3 weeks running so far. This is the final week to get your name in so I can mail it out so you get it before Christmas Day. Take a look at what's up for grabs. There's 5 of them. So get your name in there at fifascup@gmail.com down below. You'll see it there. Email in and win. Take a look. You'll love these. So there you go, guys. 3D printed World Cup trophies for you to win before Christmas. This is the last week. Get your nominations in. Tell me I want to win this. Email fifascup@gmail.com. No, don't go down below in the description. You've got to email in to win. And we don't use your emails for nothing. Once you've won, it's literally removed from the data. I don't save anybody's email. I never would do that. You've heard me say that a few times. But if you're looking at the top of the World Cup trophy there, you'll realize there's an inlet. You can either put a pen in there, simple little pen, or you can even put a lighter in there. Obviously, the green one's not showing up. You can put a lighter in there, yeah? So, just so as you know, the World Cups are there for you. Let's get into the game right now, where we want to finish off on. Absolutely. Now, remembering, Arthur Okonkwo won't be available. He's got the scan. Paulie Mullin, bit of news by Paulie Mullin in his autobiography recently, talking about last year's League Championship Walk of Fame. It was absolutely brilliant last year. The preceding year was great too, yeah? But Paulie Mullin pays homage to Rob McElhenney for literally getting the guys into a plane to fly down for Hampshire towards the end of the season to save us, the team, driving 10 hours on a coach and just 30 minutes in a plane. When you think about Rob McElhenney, think about a little bit of a visionary, how he knows to get the most out of his team and save them travel time, which means a lot more training time, a lot more video time, and a lot more rest time. Big up to Rob McElhenney. And even if Ryan was in there as well with that decision by Rob McElhenney to get the guys on a plane, that's the way to go. We got the money now. Let's do it again if we have to, yeah? Talking about the end of the season, it's going to be very interesting. But I got to say, Paulie Mullin says nice things about Rob McElhenney in Paulie Mullin's biography. Yeah, hardly 50 years old, is he? But he's got a biography out there already, and it's a great read. Get into it. Also, we've got to say the 3D images, you've got that. Also, we've got to say, if you've got any great images, remember that image I showed you from the women, yeah? That was an absolute stunning picture, yeah, right on the scene. Rosie buried by the whole team. Obviously, there's a goal gone in. But like I say, if you've got an amazing picture like that, send it on in. I'd love to see it. Moving through, though, I got to say, this is going to be a tough game. It's not going to be a gimme. I do say it's 4-0 in favour of Wrexham, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a win. We're 2 divisions above. Come on. I know that Yeovil's got a great season going on, and they're looking to get back into the National League, which they probably will. But that's 2 divisions difference. Remember, what you attract to a National League South team, you cannot see getting into a League 2 team. The divisions is 2 higher. That's 2 divisions higher with the skill, the class, the know-how, the man, and the game management. It really does show a big difference. So 4-0 might seem harsh, but that's what I'm looking for. I implore anybody, get your amazing pictures into this show, and I'll put them on the next show. And every time you put a great picture in, it will be in the next show. But get ready for the game. I'll be there. I'll be watching. I'll be in it. I'll be going crazy. And I say one thing. Let's have it. Let's get into round 3 and let's bring maybe a Man City, maybe a Liverpool, or maybe even a Manchester United. But Let's get this one out of the way. Let's get another home game. Let's get a big club. And hopefully, the bigger, the better. And let's have a fantastic upset if we win this weekend. Guys, have a great time watching the game. I know a lot of people are passionate about Wrexham. So am I. You can see the swag. You can see how passionate I am about this. Get into this game. Love it. Live it. And let's have another great win. And I tell you, Phil said one thing that I'm really, really impressed with. He was asked in an interview whether being the underdog or being the favourite was an issue, and Phil just said straight out the bat, and you can have your Wrexham bias, as I do, as you do, but Phil just said straight off the bat, we're quite used to the favourite tag. We've had it for quite a few years now. It's not a big deal. We just go out and play. So let's get out there. Let's go out and play, Phil. Let's get the team on the field. Let's get another victory. But above all, let's get the passing game going. Let's make a real attractive game. And you in the crowd need to go nuts again, because I tell you what, there is no better team to follow when you think about teams outside the Premier League. Tell me one team that's better to follow than Wrexham. I'll take a look at it seriously, but I don't think there is. And that's why I'm in love with this in every game all through the years. I guess I'm going to be in love with this game and Wrexham till the day they put the lid on top of me. Have a great time at the game. I'm going to be there. Cheers, guys. Let's get into this. Let's have it.